Embrace your inner introvert. It is so cool to fly solo, honestly. I ask the question all the time, or I get asked the question, is it weird to go places alone? Like, let's talk about this. You know, listen, you know me. I'm always here with a dose of positivity and real talk, right? If you're listening to this, I'm going to assume that you're an introvert, right? So you're an introvert and you like to do things on your own sometimes. Is that weird? No, hell no. So let's dig into why flying solo is not just okay, but it's something that you should embrace. You should fully embrace this. I'm going to start off by telling you a quick little story about something that happened to me fairly recently. So the other night, I went to go see my friend in a musical. They were doing a production of Wedding Singer, uh, one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. They made a musical out of it. It was on Broadway a long time ago. And a local production was doing this production. I love this musical. It's really good. So I'm like sitting there chilling all by myself. I'm enjoying this performance, and then during intermission this random lady in the audience approaches me. She was like sitting maybe a couple rows ahead of me, and I was up clearly sitting by myself. And she comes up to me, and she's like, "Are you here by yourself?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just here." She's like, "Are you here to see anybody?" And like I was, but I just said no because I just wanted to see where the conversation was going to go, right? So she's like, "Are you here to see somebody?" And I'm like, "No." She's like, "So you're just here by yourself? You just go places by yourself?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, that's weird." I've never met this lady before in my life. Never met this lady before in my life. And she was just like, you go places by yourself? That's weird." And for a split second, I felt this brief moment of shame. I know. This brief moment of shame for being an introvert in a public space. I'm like, oh my God, maybe it is weird that I'm here by myself. That's so weird. But then after like that initial shock, I knew that it was actually okay. And it's something that I've always known for like the longest time because I go places by myself all the time. I travel by myself all the time. I go to movies by myself all the time. I go to see shows by myself all the time. I go to dinner by myself all the time. I knew that it was okay, but for a brief second, I did feel like a shock because I had never met this woman before in my life. I knew it was okay. And I kept thinking to myself, why should I feel weird for enjoying some quality me time? And here's the thing, you shouldn't feel weird either. Like, she's very lucky that she said this to somebody that has fully embraced their need and want to just go places by themselves and to ride solo. But I couldn't help but think, man, what if she said this to somebody that hasn't embraced their solo vibes yet? And now they're like she would say that and they would go home and then they would just be overthinking everything. I know I would, because I used to think about that stuff all the time. So is it okay to be an introvert in public places? Yes, yes, of course it is. Listen, being an introvert doesn't mean that you're shy or antisocial. It just means that you often recharge best alone, right? You want to enjoy a movie, a concert, or a walk in the park solo. That's okay. Go for it. Your mental health deserves that freedom, that unique experience that only you can create for yourself. And trust me, it's wonderful. It's the best feeling you could ever have, to be able to fully embrace that and to enjoy those unique solo experiences. But what if somebody thinks it's weird? Who cares? Seriously, who cares? There's people out there that just don't get it. They don't get introversion. They don't get solo adventures. But like, that's their problem, not yours. You know what's best for you and your mental health. And if that means taking some time to vibe by yourself, then by all means, own that shit. Own it. You're not weird. You're pretty awesome if I think so myself. So how can you embrace being an introvert? I'm going to give you some tips here. I'm going to give you 3 tips. Number 1, discover what you enjoy doing alone. right? Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's a particular place you like to go. Go explore, discover what you like to do alone. Number two, understand that it's okay to go places solo. You're not alone in feeling this way. It's perfectly normal to know that it's okay to explore and do things by yourself. And number three, connect with fellow introverts. The Vibe with Kai community is full of people with, ADHD and are introverts. Like, we're a proud little community here. We're not the only community. There's tons of communities out there like ours where you can find like-minded folks, other introverts. Introverts unite from afar. They're all out there, and they're pretty cool communities. So listen, be you, be proud. Fibers, your mental health is your journey, and it's okay to walk that journey at your own pace, even if it means going at it solo sometimes. Just keep shining, keep smiling, and never be afraid to embrace your inner introvert. Don't be afraid to do it. It's the best decision I ever made, and I feel great. Seriously, I feel great. And I want to know how you feel too. Make sure, do me a favor. After you finish listening to this, shoot me a message, shoot me a DM on Instagram, and just be like, "Hey, I'm an introvert. Here's my story. I want to hear it. I want to read it. And I'll definitely, I try to reply to as many things as I can. I'll definitely look at it. But I do try to reply to everything. So send me an email, send me a message, and be like, "Hey, I'm an introvert. This is my story," and tell me your story. I would love to hear it. With that said, my friends, till next time, keep the vibe alive. And remember, it's not just okay, but downright fabulous to fly solo. With that said, my friends, much love, good vibes, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.